Welcome to the Jazz Flyte Podcast. I'm your host, Darrell Scott, and together we will dive into the lives and careers of the jazz legends who have left a rhythmic imprint on the world. Be prepared to reminisce on the highs and the lows of their musical journey and the trials that sculpted their timeless musical gems. We'll preserve the legacy of these extraordinary maestros and find inspiration in the melodies of their lives. Subscribe now and never miss a beat. Now, let's get to the show. Hi there. Welcome to the Jazz Flyte Podcast. I'm Darrell Scott. Our guest today, I've written my very first question to him, and I won't tell you what it was, but we had a little debate because he doesn't look like he's, I'll say it this way, legal. That's all I'm going to say. But ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Lemek. Lemek, how are you, sir? What's going on?
I'm wonderful, my friend. Thanks for having me on here. I'm happy to be here and you know,
Let,
get
let,
to have some great conversations.
yeah, man, that's always the goal. So you're you're at a younger age. You're in a
Mhm.
business in a music genre, let's say, that is dominated by, let's just be honest, older folks.
Mhm.
How do you, one, why did you decide on music, especially at this stage of your life? And what's your plan to keep all this going?
So, I'll say for one, yes, you're correct. It is dominated by a lot of older cats, but my my concern was always about leaving a stamp on who I am. I grew up with this genre. I love it. My dad always played this type of music growing up, and I want to add something new that's distinct. I think every artist, no matter young or old, or wherever you come from, what demographic you come from, you always have a unique voice that nobody else can replicate. And so by doing that, I picked up guitar when I was 5, and my journey went from smooth jazz to blues to rock to some metal to pop, even like orchestral and classical. I listened to it all, and all that gave me a unique voice that I now convey to other people, through my music. And I think the legacy that somebody like myself is going to leave, say 40 plus years from now, is that I want to make sure that, I, me personally, I cannot sound like anybody else. I want people to
Hmm.
go back and be like, after it's all said and done, I can pick Lemek out of a crowd of, say, 100 artists.
Right. Yes, I get that.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Nobody else can replicate my sound and how I approach music and my playing and the instruments that I play. And I think that'll be the legacy and the stamp that I want to leave on this genre going forward. Because the whole purpose of me being in this genre is really to push it forward. I was signed by Trippin N Rhythm record label
Hmm.
in 2021, and that was the reason they signed me, because not just because I'm a young cat. Well, that had a lot to do with it, but somebody that understands the vision for this genre going forward. Because we need people to come behind that older
Right.
generation,
Almost
to be
definitely.
able to, appreciate this music and this glorified art form. And because it's great music and people don't get it. Like my generation, they don't understand it. Like that there's good music here. It doesn't always have to be like mainstream,
Right.
for
Right.
you to have to be able to listen to it. You should be able to listen to it and recognize the value that it can bring. And so I'm kind of trying to be the pseudo poster child for that. So
Cool.
hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, it did. I will vote for you. So
Hmm.
if I had to, let's venture off into the future. Um,
Hmm.
if it's 40 years from now
Hmm.
and you're 41
Yes.
at that time, what
Hmm.
do you think your legacy would be, or what would you want your legacy to be, and how are you going to get there?
So, my legacy hopefully is one where, well, I'll preface this by saying every time I do a live show, um, I do kind of tend to preach a little bit.
Not a
And the
problem.
things, yeah, and I do preach. I just do a little small bit, but I tell everybody I want you to take away from my concerts the feeling of love, most importantly, but also the feeling of being honest going forward, having integrity and being moral people, because that's who I am. That's the values I instill, and that was instilled to me by my parents. And so I want to make sure that people understand that that's who I am, and you can hear it in my music, and that it's very sincere. Like I'm not um, doing this because of the money or anything vain like that. No, I'm doing this because I actually enjoy it. I love listening to music. I love playing music. I love everything to do that's about music. And so if you're that kind of person, I think you have a responsibility to uh, convey positive messages and values that's in that realm that's not negative, because there's a lot of that going on. So
Right.
when you look back 40 years, 40 years from now, and I look back, I hope that I'll have a lot of people that have come after me that
Mhm.
has those same values that instill, because that means that I'm doing my job right.
Right. Yep. Yes, indeed. Let me ask you this, and this is, you're at that age. So I am sure you are getting information from what we will call the vets.
Mhm.
But at some point, you're going to be the vet,
Mhm.
and you're going to have those younger folks asking you
Mhm.
for advice.
Yes.
How's that make you feel? Because now all of a sudden it'll be like, well, I need to get a hold of this guy so
Yeah.
he can help me with my career. But now you what
Yeah.
do you do?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, because you were just saying I look like I'm 18. I feel like I'm 18. I can't believe I'm 26 right now, sitting here
Wow.
talking to you.
Hmm.
But I've already had people looking up to me, even in this short time that I've been an artist, and I've been in kind of the spotlight, so to speak. And they'd come up to me asking me questions like, "Hey, can I open for you? Or what should I do? Do you have any tips or any advice and stuff like for me?" So, me personally, that's kind of been a learning curve, because I'm always the person asking the questions.
Right,
I'm
right,
looking
right.
up to other people for wisdom, but they're looking to me for wisdom now. And so I would say if anybody were to ask me, like, what should I be doing with my career, or what are the steps that are needed to get off the ground and have a successful and career that has longevity. I say this all the time. I would have A few years ago, I would have told you, like, of course, the cliche answer, be true to yourself, which is important. But I would also say more so along lines of what I was talking about with integrity. You have to be easy to work with, and you have to be a good person to be able to work with.
Hmm.
Like, as far as should I say, making friends. Making friends is the most important,
Hmm.
because you can have all the talent at the end of the day, which is great, that gets you in the door. But if nobody wants to work with you, you're not going to go far.
Right.
It's just that's just is what it is. That's the ironclad rule. That's why I say have integrity, be honest, be a moral person, have stand your ground, have moral values that you will not waver on. Like
Hmm.
that's your foundation, that's your floor. And make as many friends as you possibly can, because you never know who you're going to meet. Like say for instance, my this album that I just released, Boundless, that album was made with the intention of showing who I am, what I can be as an artist, but also I wanted to feature a lot more of the friends that I've made over the last few years. That's why it has more features than say my first album did.
Hmm.
And that's kind of the reason why I decided to do that, because I'm like I meet all these people, they're great people, we really gel, there's cohesion there. And that's lifelong friends.
Right.
We're gonna be friends for years.
Yes.
And that's how it is. That's how it's supposed to be. So for any newcomer that's coming along, just Be easy to work with, make friends.
So I'm betting, since it seems as though half the people I wanted to interview were on the Dave Koz Cruise,
Hmm.
that that roster of musicians
Hmm.
has got to be great for a guy like you, because you can go out and play and show off your skills to the audience you're trying, not as fans, but to the
Hmm.
musicians who you're trying to meet. So
Yes.
it's a kind of a twofold thing for you, because you're playing for the fans, but you're also playing for the rest of the
All the
guys who are standing
musicians.
next to you.
Yep.
Uh, any additional pressure, or you just go out and be you?
Yeah, you just go out and be you. I've when like when I started out like a few years ago, of course, there's that like new kid on the block feeling. So
Hmm.
you have a lot to prove because you feel like you all low key kind of don't belong there.
Hmm.
But uh you soon get over that, especially in this industry, in this genre, because everybody that I've met has just been so welcoming and they've been so supportive. So you realize that you think that it's like a lot of competition, which there is kind of, but it's more of a healthy competition. It's like everybody wants to see each other succeed and get to, to
Hmm.
that next level. So playing in front of basically half the industry on the
Yes,
Dave Koz Cruise,
yes, yes.
it was kind of one of those deals where I've kind of evolved past worrying about all that stuff. It's just like, listen, I am Lemek. I can't be anybody else. I
Right,
can only be me.
right.
And so that's just what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna show people what I have to offer. And we're just gonna have fun with it. And then sure enough, everybody I had people coming up to me like just numerous people, of course, but like Evan Taylor, BK Jackson, Dave himself,
Hmm.
they got to see my shows and they just gave me so much support. And there's more, even more. But they gave me so much support and love on that show. And it was great to see because that's also it's a little validating,
Right,
you can
yes,
have,
yes,
it's like these cats are serious. Like BK played with Prince, Adrian Crutchfield played with Prince.
yes.
Dave Koz is one of the biggest stars in this genre right now, and he's played with Bobby Caldwell. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? These are serious players, and they recognize your talent. So it kind of is like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
This
doing something.
this seems to be going pretty well. I guess I'll
Just
keep
a little
going.
bit, just a little bit, man. But it's cool to see. That whole deal. And yeah, it's just a beautiful deal. And I make even more friends, and of course on the next album there'll be even more of them that
Right.
we collaborate with. And I'm actually already working on a few songs with some other artists that are on the cruise, so stay tuned for that. But that's
Definitely.
just how it works. It's just that stems from what I just said. It's like talent gets you through the door, but you got to be cool to work with,
Right,
man. It's just all, at the end of the day, it's just relationships.
right. It's so funny
Hmm.
that in doing what I do, this interview
Hmm.
thing,
Hmm.
everybody seems to become friends.
Yeah.
Whether it's me, I mean, I've got a couple of people that every now and then send me emails. So what are you doing? What's going on? Who you got coming up? Oh,
Mhm.
here's this person. I don't know if you know a guy in California, Tony Polizzi.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I don't know him
To-
though.
so Tony and I'm in Cleveland. Tony
Mhm.
and I both work for the Tri-C Jazz Fest. We
Yeah.
never really sat down and talked. We kind of crossed paths and everything. So we hit it off with just trying to remember, do you know this person? Do you know this person? And the next
Hmm.
thing you know, he sends me like seven more names.
Oh
Here, try to
wow.
talk to these guys. Try to talk to these guys. And don't get me wrong, I'm always looking for people to interview. I'd rather be stacked up with interviews that I can
Hmm.
wait on and
Hmm.
play them later. But it's also that bond you create from the relationships you create.
Hmm.
It is so funny to me. We'll take a break right here. Not a real break, but we're going to
Hmm.
listen to, what did I say? I want first. Let's listen to Boundless on the Jazz Flight Podcast with our guest, Lemek. Welcome back to Jazz Flight. I'm Darrell Scott. He is Lemek. He follow this guy, get to know his music, and stay with it. Because I think the one thing that we don't do, I think in this age, especially with streaming, and I'm not bad mouthing streaming. Let me say that. We used to buy albums. We'd go out and we'd
Mm-hmm.
pick up your latest album and we'd listen to it from front to back 1,800 times, whatever. Well, now with streaming, you can just do a
Yep.
song. I don't I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily agree with that, but that's the nature of the beast. That's all we can do. But
Mm-hmm.
this is your thing now. Your longevity is going to be a long time. Um, we've heard
Mm-hmm.
a couple of songs already. They're really, really good. The potential that you have is tremendous. And I'm going to ask this question first. Your dad's a
Mm-hmm.
musician. How much do you take from your dad while still maintaining yourself? Because it's, a
Mm-hmm.
father-son thing and the same music thing can be rough.
Yeah.
You can have difficulties.
Yeah.
You can have arguments. And you want to win out because it's you, but he wants to win out because
Mm-hmm.
he's your dad. Tell me about that dynamic.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna say this, that dynamic you described doesn't particularly match our relationship,
Hmm.
mainly because our relationship has always been positive. We don't
Okay.
have that deal where we butt heads like that. It's almost kind of like um, I don't want to say like business partners, right? But it's
Right. Yeah.
like we have, let's say, like, hey, I think we can work through something, to make
Hmm.
sure that we get, to the right, you know,
Hmm.
destination. As far as him having influence, he has all the influence. I mean, I grew up listening to all his music when he was writing that stuff, throughout
Hmm.
my entire childhood. And so by nature, you pick up things unintentionally. So like I would listen to, certain licks he would play on saxophone that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's something my dad would play when I'm playing guitar.
Right. Hmm.
And it's like in my subconscious. However, I'm such a hodgepodge of like all my favorite artists and
Right.
different musicians that it's like it's bits and pieces, and I've kind of crafted my tone with all of that in consideration. So, um, you know, maintaining my voice. I know my dad couldn't sound like me if he tried. I couldn't sound like him all the way if I tried. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
It's
Yep.
like we're still our own artists, but the thing is that I think with any act, it's can you come together with your unique sound and styles and make something even better? And that's where we get our sauce that I say from. That's why
Hmm.
people love seeing us, is because we have our dynamics. Like my personality comes out on stage, his personality comes on stage. But when we're coming together, they can see how we are really in our personal life, because that's all we do on stage. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? It's like, we're just father and son, that's how we get down, we're just hanging out, we're cool, I rib on him sometimes, he ribs on me, it's fun, it's a family dynamic, and I think people really respond to that, and especially I owe a lot to him because he got me started with like doing official recordings with his albums. So like I think what was his fourth album, I'm playing guitar on that. That was my first actual credit being, on
Hmm.
a live on an actual recording. And all the tips and tricks he's taught me over the years to be able to gain the skill set to be able to work on my own music. And I just took what he gave me and kind of ran with it. But um, to have him in my corner like that, I am very fortunate, and not many people have that opportunity or that option, to have somebody that's just been every step of the way, just kind of
Hmm.
guided you along the right path. And so I will never forget that. I know I'm privileged in that regard, but
Right.
I will not sit here and say that I don't acknowledge that. I appreciate it, everything he's done for me. So, um, it's a beautiful thing, the relationship we have.
Have you two played on the stage together or on a record together?
Yes, many times. We actually did that on the Dave Koz Cruise. We were booked as the father and son duo. So we do that. We do that on the Dave Koz Cruise. We did Catalina Jazz Festival together. We did Fresh Coast Jazz Festival in Milwaukee. We did May J's, Marcus Anderson Coffee Escape, and we just did a show in Houston together. We're doing another one here in New Orleans, another one in Vegas together.
Mm.
Same thing in November and Virginia. Yeah, we play together and record together a lot. He's featured on my first album on a tune. It's called Through the Valley, and then I'm like pretty much his only guitar player he uses. So just go listen to any of his recent albums. Like you'll find me on there.
Okay. It is that's it's got to be neat to look over there and go all of a sudden, hey folks, that's my dad. Um, I
Oh
can't.
yeah, exactly.
I just
In
I
in
go ahead.
No, I don't mean to cut you off, but I was gonna say it's funny as well because me coming in, I've only been around in the spotlight like a couple of years. So it's like 2022 since my first single, and everybody started playing my music, but then they didn't know who my dad was
Oh,
because I
okay.
didn't market that.
Right.
People never found that out until I guess somebody went and stalked my Facebook page and saw one post where I was like happy birthday or something.
Right. Right.
And then all of a sudden it came out and spread like wildfire that my dad, Quinn R.W., was my dad because he's in the game for years, even before I was born.
Right.
But every story is unique and different. So he had to kind of step away and handle life, And
Right.
so me coming in after the fact, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I used to play your dad all the time, and I didn't even know you were his son." You know what I mean? And it's funny to hear that because I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's my dad."
It,
It's,
it,
it's just, I can watch it from the behind the scenes, but seeing it in real time is
right.
hilarious.
Right. Do you feel? I asked this question of Terry Lynn Carrington, who started at a very young age. Do you feel as though you're a child prodigy of music? I'll tell you her
Prodigy,
answer.
absolutely not.
She's. Did
That's
you talk to Terry about this same question? Because that's exactly what her answer is.
no, no, I'm definitely not a prodigy by any means. Especially, at least not to myself. People may think I am. Listen, there's a lot of growing pains came into this person you see right here. All right,
Hmm.
so new. So Terry must be cut from the same cloth I was. So
It's so funny when you talk to somebody. Obviously, Terry's been in the game longer than both you and I have. But you talk to a young
mhm,
person who was exposed to music early on in their life, and that's the exact same thing they say. You were just doing it just
mhm,
because you thought it was cool, it was fun, and you figured it was going to be a career path. She's basically the same way.
mhm,
But
mhm.
I always find it weird that sometimes the youngest are the most, how should I say, are just, they realize they see the light of the path, and I'm going to stay on the path because I like it.
Mhm.
If it works out, it works out.
Yeah,
If it doesn't,
it
so
works out. It works. Yep.
if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
Oh Lord, that's a dark answer. Listen, man. I'll say it like this. There was a time about 4 years ago where I was working a job. I used to work at the airport here in New Orleans, and there was this guy that would fuel up airplanes.
Hmm.
And I asked him like, "Hey man, how long have you been doing this gig, man?" And because I'd only been there for like a couple years, and he said he had that job since he was 17 years old. He was 44 when I asked him that question. And when he told me that, I was like, immediately just like saw my entire life at that airport and what I already was dealing with. And
Hmm.
I was like, I would have to deal with 30 plus more years of this.
Right,
When I asked myself, I was like, no, I got to get out of this airport.
right.
Right then, that was like, there is no other career path for me. This is it for me.
Hmm.
Like, I don't care what happens financially. Of course, you gotta feed yourself, gotta put a roof over your head. But I'm gonna find a way to get music to do that for me.
Okay.
Like there are ways for it to happen. And so because I'm like, I can't sit here and physically justify myself working
Pump
to the
gas on
bone at a job like that. Yeah, it's just I can't do that. Like that's not what my purpose is on this life is to do that. Like
it.
I'm not knocking it.
Right.
It's important. I understand it, but I have a voice that I need to get out and people that need to hear it.
Sure.
And I know that I'm doing the right job because I every time I go to a show, they'll be like, "Man, listen, your music is changing lives. Like
Right.
you've made." They see my dad and I our show together on stage, and they see our dynamic, and they're like, "Hey, I see you. I haven't talked to my son or my daughter in who knows how
Right.
long. Seeing
Mm-hmm.
you two together on stage makes me want to go reach out and go reestablish that connection with my
Right.
child.
Right.
Like that's been told to me. And so, you know, thinking about that, it's like I can't do that doing anything else. So
Nice.
um yeah, it's music till I die. I'm sorry.
That's
That's
not
just it.
not a problem at all. Let's take a minute and
Hmm.
listen to "Sentimental" with our good friend Lynn Roundtree
Hmm.
and Lemek on the Jazz Flyte Podcast. I'm Darrell Scott. He is Lemek. This is the Jazz Flyte Podcast. So, what are you working on now? What's on the table now that you're getting ready to serve to us?
Mm. So I just dropped my sophomore album. It just came out on August 1st. So I did a release party for that at spot in Seal Beach called Spaghettini. So
Hmm.
now that that's all said and done, I've got about a month and a half, maybe 2 months of free time. So that'll be spending. I'm trying to get my merch line taken care of. So I want to get t-shirts, all the work, coffee mugs, pins, and all that stuff. So I'm working on getting that available for people and really, continuing the Lemek brand because,
Hmm.
as artists, you can't just be musicians anymore. You've got to
Right.
be a
There's
musician, you've got to be the booking agent, you got to be travel agent, you got to be the freaking entrepreneur, you got to be the marketing team, you got to be everything yourself.
Yep.
So I'm working on that, but then also I'm starting pre-production on my next album.
Okay.
So, album two's done. Already got to start on the next one. So, um, I'm getting planning done for that one, but also as well as getting more dates for live shows. So to close out this year, I've got one show here in New Orleans where I'm based. Got another one in Virginia. Then I'll go to Vegas, and then I believe I just have something else. I can't remember at the end of November, but it slips my mind at the moment. That's what I was talking about. I need that calendar app, man.
Right. Yes.
Like,
Yes.
you gotta have that stuff. But yeah, so I've got a few more dates left in the year, and so I'm working on getting booking for next year as well. And we'll see how that goes. But yeah, these next 2 months are very important, and I'm gonna be hunkering down.
So it's, don't get me wrong. Number one, it seems like you're a workaholic, but you
Hit
never
it
really have an opportunity to I'll say relax, slow down, decompress. And if you
very
do,
rarely. Yeah.
what do you do? Are you a swimmer, a golfer, volleyball? What?
Yes. So my deal is it kind of comes in waves. So there'll be periods of the year where it's like, okay, I'll have a couple months where it's like slow, but then the rest of the year is just freaking packed.
Hmm.
So finding time, you kind of have to make time for yourself.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's another thing. I'll just give you this quick tangent here. I think it's also important for musicians to know when to say no.
Right. Yes.
Not don't always work yourself just because you got to make money. It's like
Right.
yes, you do, but people can wait. Like
Mhm.
people are asking you for things you're not asking them, so they have to get on your schedule. That's important to establish those boundaries because if you're constantly working and you're just always on the go, that's gonna burn you out
Right.
like
Yes.
nobody's business. And so, so when I do finally get some downtime, I'll just relax. I love to go for walks,
Hmm.
like just on a beautiful day where unfortunately it's always hot down here in
Right.
sunny southern Louisiana, so there's not time for that. But usually during like the fall to winter months, it's just perfect for walking out, just enjoying the nice cool breeze and fresh air and just listening to music. That's all. That's really just how I wind down and enjoy
Hmm.
it. If I'm not like dog tired where I just gotta
Right.
sleep all day, but for hobbies, I game a little bit. I always growing up loved video games and stuff, but I don't do it as much anymore.
Hmm.
Just because time, like, just
Right.
don't have time for that much. But other than that, I'll go out. I used to do archery. That was something I was cool with. Um, as far as like sports,
Hmm.
kind of sports esque. So
Hey,
I did archery for a while, and yeah,
nice.
it's fun.
Realize you can
Yeah,
use
it's fun. So
you can do that and be silent, and no one would ever know what you're doing. So, and if you're looking for a
exactly,
companion, you're looking for a companion to go with you on the walks.
Mhm.
Where is it? Oh, there he is. I got a
Oh
hundred
yeah,
pound
that.
husky you can take with you on walks. I
Oh,
would
sweet.
enjoy it. He's he is here for every show.
Dude.
There's something.
Oh, nice,
I'm in this magazine, and as somebody called him, he's the co-pilot. But while we
nice.
were talking, he comes over here. You can't ever see him, and he'll look at the screen and kind
Hmm.
of decide, "Oh, okay, I'll hang out." Or sometimes he goes and he
Okay.
goes outside and gets on the couch. But Brody's
Uh,
a wonderful.
come
He's
and
like,
vet the artist.
yeah, yes.
It's like,
So
are you good enough for this interview?
yeah, it's more like I think I can be friends with him. I could. Um,
Yeah,
last thing, how can our fans follow you on social media? What is your email or not email? Your Facebook,
yeah.
Instagram, X, everything. What is that?
So absolutely. So primarily I use Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram is Lemek Music, Lemek Music. You type me in, you'll find me there. My Facebook, I have two. You can follow both. My first one is just my name. It's Lemek Israel, Lemek Yisrael. Then I have an artist page, which is just Lemek dash artist. You can follow me both there. I also have a website where you can stay up to date where I'm going to be for my touring schedule, as well as you can purchase signed CDs from there. It's lemekyisraelmusic.com, LEMEKYISRAEL music.com. And I have a YouTube page. You can subscribe. I'm posting more frequently there. I just had some footage go up from my Spaghettini show last week on there. You could
Mhm.
take some look at, and it's Lemek Official on YouTube. So those are the main places you can follow me at.
Dude, this has been fun. Um, I like your story. I like what
Awesome,
you're
man.
doing.
Likewise.
I like what you're doing. I love to see young people with a purpose. And you have a not
Mhm.
only are you playing music, but you have a purpose in the music and what you do. And I think that's a very intriguing thing to me. I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna post everything I got about you on my social
Awesome.
media. We need to exchange some things, so we'll talk
Thank you.
about that in a minute. But ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, Portia tells me not to do this. I can't point because when she gets it, she might turn it around.
Mhm.
So I might point this way,
Yeah.
and you actually might be over there.
Yeah. And
So
then I'm on the other side.
right, yes. So
Yeah.
it's a bad habit I can't get out of. But ladies and
You're
gentlemen, he
fine.
is Lemek. Follow him. He's got some wonderful music. You heard a
Thank you.
couple of samples here about what he was doing. And dude, I'll be, I will send you stuff every now and then just to check on you,
Mhm.
see how you're doing. As I say to
Awesome.
everybody, I reserve the right to be able to call you back. Because you're going to
Yeah.
do something new that people want to know about, that we can get out to the public
Mhm.
and kind of go from there. If you like what
Mhm.
we do, at the end of this, there's a button called subscribe. Subscribe. Watch
Yeah.
this. He is one of the many that we've done. There are more to come, and we'll probably have him back soon. Not,
Yep.
you talk about trying to
Not too soon.
get all these friends. Somebody said, "Well, Darrell,
Hmm.
why don't you change the music that you go after?" I said, "If I've done 105 shows, there's
Hmm.
10,500 more artists out there that I have not touched. So there's a whole lot
Yep.
of people, and we'll go from there." So
Yep.
I every now and then I get carried away, and this is one of those times. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank
No,
you.
you're good.
I greatly appreciate this. That's Lemek. Follow him. I'm repeating myself. I'm just going to be quiet now, and we're going to go off and go from there. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Join us again next week. Thank you for tuning in to the Jazz Flyte Podcast. I hope you enjoy these stories and soulful melodies that grew through the doors of time. If you want to stay connected with the latest updates and episodes, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Until next time, I'm Darrell Scott.